Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to High School Crush Time. We got a special guest here once again. Yes, I told you we were going to have guests on the show, Dom, right? I did to say that earlier in the year. And look at this. I'm coming through with my promises. And this week, it's the quarterback. Last week, we talked to the running back and safety from Notre Dame Academy. This week, it's the quarterback, Max Pierce, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who does it all. Welcome to the show, Max. You guys came off a huge win here in the recent goings, and it's been an incredible start to this, or incredible regular season for you guys. First, before we get anything diving into it, just talk about that regular season, how impressed you are.
Yeah, obviously, I'm really impressed, but before the season started, we kind of know our goal. We saw all the preseason rankings, and we agreed with them. We went into the season knowing that we were going to be one of the top teams in the state, and pretty much from then we've only proved our point right. So I'm impressed, but I'm not super surprised.
And, obviously you guys knew you're going to be a top-ranking team probably in the state and across Wisconsin, especially at that D3 level, and you guys certainly showed it. I mean, you guys are playing good football. You're playing all over the place. You guys are playing fast, hard, and, obviously Christian Collins, huge for that offense. Jack Collins, huge for that defense. Charlie Horncheck, big player as well. You as well, Mr. Consistency, we have always called you, along with a couple other quarterbacks in the wiaa and around the area. Dom and I have had our venture of watching different quarterbacks play, and you're up there with one of them that plays very consistent. But it's good to see. And you guys did beat Oshkosh North this week, 41-7. Let's talk a little bit about that game. What was going through your mind in that kind of contest? And you guys are leading 41-7 again. You guys are just dominating the other team. What's going through your mind at that point?
So we knew that they were probably one of the better conference teams that we were going to go against this year. So we came in, obviously our coaches always put together a really good game plan. So we came in feeling confident. Unfortunately, we did let up that touchdown pretty early, and I think that just kind of like it was senior night. I think it it took some time to let all the emotions kind of go and to get to where like we can just play football. And after that first score, I think everyone just really locked in. Offense played great. The defense played obviously amazing. We knew they had a good quarterback as well, and we pretty much held them to nothing. And I think it went really well.
That's fantastic to hear. Dom, do you have any follow-up questions for him on the last game?
Max, what's it like to have someone like James Flanagan to throw to? That ginormous catch radius. He had another close to 100 yards and 2 scores in that game. What's it like being able to play with him, knowing that he's your top target?
I mean, obviously it's really good. We saw all the way back from 7-on-7 in the summer. There would be 3 guys on him, and I would pretty much just throw it up, and he'd catch it every single time. And when we played Oshkosh North this week, they were actually playing full man-to-man without any help. So, that's not going to work for them, obviously. So James, he did really good and one-on-one and pretty much all the time. So it's really good having a guy like that.
Yeah, it's nice having those big body targets to go to. Especially with Flanagan. Now we will run through some stats here. 4 for 4 for you, 127 yards, 2 TDs. Again, phenomenal performance, Mr. Consistency out there, and looked good. Then on the ground game, Christian Collins, 26 carries, 349 yards, and 4 TDs. My goodness. I mean, saw him on Sunday, and I'm like, yeah, it sounds like he torched things up again. Once again, you told me wrong. But yeah, he's been really good in that backfield. And James Flanagan, as we just mentioned, 2 catches, 95 yards, 2 TDs. But now we have to look ahead here, Dom, and we did talk about it a little bit before we even got started recording everything else. You guys have Pewaukee this week, a team coming to town, and they do have that 4-5 record. But is that really? I mean, Dom, you kind of explained it. They have a really tough schedule. They're playing really tough teams. Is that necessarily true to what they are, you think, Max, or do you think they're going to be a better team than that prospective 4-5?
We kind of talked about this today in practice, actually. We do think that they're going to be probably better than your generic 7 seed. But it doesn't matter. We know that we have to play everybody, and I don't think it matters. I think we're gonna do our thing and come out with the win.
It's awesome response, Dom.
Yeah, to your point, the schedule has been kind of up and down for them. They lost three straight at one point, then they won three in a row at one point. So definitely an interesting opponent there. How do you guys feel being a two seed given the season that you've had? Do you have an extra chip on your shoulder due to that?
Um, we also talked about this today right away. Um, Obviously, I think everyone has the same feeling about the 2 seed. Um, Everyone has the same feeling. I'll just say that. But coach said to you can choose how you want to see it. You can use it as fuel, or you don't have to use it as fuel. So like I said earlier, we have to play everybody anyway. Our goal isn't to lose in the second round, or our goal is to win state. So um, we have to play everybody anyway. So it doesn't matter who we play in the first round, second round, third round, whatever it is. So yeah, I think we probably shouldn't have been a 2 seed, but I think guys in our team aren't really looking at it like that.
That's a great response, and coach obviously hitting it on the head. Maybe took high school crunch times questions here right before practice. Sounds like, but let's take a look at that bracket that you guys are in. You guys got good teams like Grafton in there as well, which is going to be a likely contest you're going to see. You got Milwaukee North, Luxembourg Casco, a pretty familiar team. Probably know some players from that squad. Plymouth, maybe not, but they're around the area, kind of, a little bit south. Port Washington, that's going to be outside Whitefish Bay, and then Pewaukee, just to get things started. So now, if, say, you do get that Pewaukee win, now I'm just moving 1 week ahead. I don't mean to pressure anything or put anything ahead. You do have a Port Washington Whitefish Bay contest. The winner of that one, which will be I think a good one as well for you guys. But you guys have proven that you guys can win at all costs and do it at literally any level. But how are you guys feeling about your whole bracket or your whole pool and that sort of thing after getting that released here over the weekend?
Oh, sorry, it like kind of cut out. What'd you say at the end?
So how are you guys feeling about your pool this week? Like, how are you guys feeling about the pool in the bracket?
Um, yeah, it is a tough pool. We don't really know too much about any of these teams, I guess. Like on the other side of the bracket, we played Mount Horeb, and then pretty much I think everybody else we played except maybe Fox Valley Lutheran. I think they're on like they're up in the bracket.
Mm-hmm.
But like Ashwaubenon, Rice Lake, all those teams, I think they're D2 now. So yeah, we don't really know too much about these teams. But like I said earlier, I don't think it really matters. I think we're just gonna go out and do our thing, do what our game plan is gonna be, and yeah. So, but I guess we'll see how their film looks.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm assuming a lot of film goes in before playoffs. Um, if you don't mind answering, like, how much time do you guys think you're going to be spending on film this week, preparing for this first game?
Like on like just film.
Yeah.
Um. Well, typically as a team, we watch film on Thursdays before the game. But kind of individually, um, everyone has kind of their own way of watching film. To what I've seen, the coaches kind of do it during the weekend, and that's kind of what I do as well. But I also do it like throughout the week. But a lot. I don't really know the number, but the coaches like Monday practice, they know a lot about the team we're gonna play. Like a lot. So I can't tell you the number, but it's definitely a high number on in film hours, which is a good thing.
Dom, any follow up?
Are you guys planning on? You don't have to say what kind of play, but are you guys planning on maybe opening up the playbook a little bit more since this is the playoffs and it's all bets are off on what you may see?
Um, like being 100% honest, I'm not 100% sure yet. We today is kind of like our install day. Coaches are gonna tell us what they saw in the film, like they're kind of their studs, who to look out for, all that kind of stuff. So kind of throughout the week, the coaches will kind of put pieces together, figuring out maybe we can run this, or maybe we can run this, or maybe we don't run anything and we just stick to our normal football. So to be honest, I'm not sure yet, but I'm guessing there will be something.
Yeah, and a lot of questions remain in the air, obviously, especially with the contest here against Pewaukee, and just moving forward in this playoff with not much knowledge of any team you're potentially going to be playing on your side of the pool. But Dom, you ready to move on here, and we can keep the show moving, rocking and rolling a little bit, and then we'll maybe head back.
Yeah, whatever. You're the boss around here, so you tell me what we're doing here.
All right, so we'll just take. So I just don't want to keep badgering you with questions, but let's just run through a couple of teams here. Nina takes on Hortonville 43-14. Van Evenhoven 7 for 8 passing, 144 yards. No TDs or picks. Grant Dean 12 carries, 121 yards, 2 TDs. Luke Young 3 catches, 77 yards. They have Milwaukee Hamilton this week, fellas, in the first round of the playoffs. Do you think the Rockets get the win? Because I'm certainly kind of on board with the Rockets. I think they're progressing as a team here late in the season. But what are your thoughts? We'll start with Dom, and then we'll head over to Mr. Max.
Yeah, I like what I've seen so far, and I'm thinking that run game has been really well all season long for them, with Grant Dean now back fully from that injury. So I'm kind of leaning with you. I'm probably going with the Rockets in this one.
Now, Max?
I also agree with Dom here. I think that that FBA conference play is so it's so, I don't even know the word, like competitive, and I think Nina has just competed very, very well in that conference, and I don't see them losing in the playoffs in the first round, or early actually.
Yeah, I definitely am going to go with the Rockets here in the first contest. You got to go kind of with the teams that you know. I always feel like, especially early, but those are always the ones that kind of get you off here. And so now we will talk about two teams that kind of a weird game Dom and I talked about here before the show, and that was at Kimberly Appleton North. Now, obviously, Max, you've seen these teams. You know what they kind of play like. You've probably seen film. I know you haven't played against them one-on-one, but you have probably seen lots of film on them. But, I mean, Kimberly wins 10-9 in this contest. What? Kimberly's just coming off a loss in Nina. Then they did get a win against Kaukauna. And now they barely slip out of one heading into playoffs, given 10-9. And they have Appleton North again for the playoffs. How would that make you feel? Like, is there any area of concern, Max, if you're the quarterback for Kimberly, and you're winning 10-9 that week before, just squeaking one out, and you got to play them again that next week for the playoffs, where there's going to be added pressure and everything else? Is there any other concerns that are, are you going to be extra concerned about that game, or are you going to be feeling fine because you've seen them once?
I think it could go both ways. But I think, for a quarterback standpoint, I think he actually probably has an advantage just because he's seen everything before. But obviously there is extra pressure just knowing that they did barely win the week before. But I think he definitely has an advantage because he just played them. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, and I totally understand from the offensive side, but I think as a team, I'd be a little concerned. You're only winning 10-9. Dom and I had them blowing Appleton North out, which there, Dom, I proved you wrong. We both took the evil empire. But Dom, how do you think they're feeling heading into this week?
I think they're probably feeling better than we're probably making it out to be, in all honesty, because
we're just talking heads at this point.
That's a fair point. You give up 9 points. It was a really weird game with the way that it kind of played out. Obviously, I didn't get the chance to watch this one yet, but when you score 9 points and you score a touchdown, there was something kind of goofy that happened there. So I agree with Max from an offensive standpoint. They also didn't run it as great as they normally did in this game. Their leading rusher only averaged about 5 yards a carry. They're usually a lot better in that department. So I think I don't want to say that they were saving anything necessarily, but I certainly think that might have played into it because when you give up 9 points defensively, and Max can attest to this with how good their defense has been this year, that's a huge advantage for you. And then offensively, you get to see him once, maybe a vanilla playbook because you kind of know where you're playing, kind of where your seed line's gonna be. So it was a weird game for Kimberly. I would still pick them to win this week. I think I don't know where you stand, Johnny, but
Yeah, I'm on
I
the same
think
boat.
yeah, I don't think it was necessarily a fluke deal because Appleton North is certainly a quality opponent, but I think Kimberly will kind of tighten the screws a little bit, and they'll be back focused and ready to go.
It's a great response there. And then it brought me into another question here for Max. Max, so when you are getting into these final weeks of the regular season, maybe you have a game that I mean, because possibly, mind games are half the game sometimes. And are you hiding anything for playoffs? Like, are you baking up anything special? Kind of formulating a delicious pie for the playoffs, or are you going to be just playing the same old playbook that you've always played all season?
Um,
Not to
I
give away any
guess
plays.
I guess as of right now, like I said earlier, we'll find out, I guess. So, but right now, we are just we're gonna play our game to what everybody knows. But that might change in the next 4 or 5 days. But yeah, if anybody, obviously, if anybody on our team is given the opportunity, I think they're gonna make a play. So yeah.
So you're keeping the same playbook right now. That's what you would do if you were the coach and calling the plays and letting not putting anything back pocket right now unless you need it.
Um. Well, he's been in these situations before, and for me, I have not. So I guess I would trust whatever his game plan is. He hasn't even like really told us our game plan. Today was just complete install. So really I don't know. But
No, you don't
yeah.
have to tell us either. We are just a couple guys talking on the talk show, just seeing if there's anything formulated prior. But Dom, now let's talk about it here. If you were the coach, or if you were a coach of a team here, and you had an opportunity, or you were in the playoffs or going into the playoffs, and you could hide something, are you going to be that guy hiding something? Are you going to be formulating those other plays? Now, this is speaking hypothetically. We're just talking heads again. I mentioned that before. But if we're just speaking hypothetically, are you going to be hiding anything in the back pocket?
I'd certainly hide something because I think every team's got their secret sauce, and I'm waiting for that. For you guys don't run it often, but that four receiver set when you got James and Charlie Hornacek, and you can throw Joey Massey out there if you want, and name your other receiver, and you just run this entire crossing concept with a guy going deep, and you just launch this sucker for 50 yards because you've got the arm to do it. I've seen it. Um, so I think you got to hide something. The other thing that I think you got to take in consideration, I don't know what the whole tape aspect of this looks like, but I know I was told a couple weeks ago that most coaches want all that stuff that's out on the internet for film purposes to be taken down for what's run actually in a game. So I think a large part of that is gamesmanship. And so I'm certainly hiding, you don't want to hide necessarily everything because it's important to do it live once or twice, but I'm certainly hiding something just for that one situation that comes up where it's like we're down by four,
Yeah.
2 minutes to go, third down, we haven't done this all season. They're not ready for it, let's go. So I'm keeping some stuff in the back pocket, but I also wouldn't necessarily be afraid to try it once or twice just to see how it plays in an actual game.
Yeah. I'm on kind of the same boat. Yeah, hypothetically, if I was coaching a team, now Dom and I have talked about this. I'm planning to turn around a program that you guys actually play this season. I'm not going to mention who, just for the sake of the show. But I'm planning on trying to turn around a program. Dom, I was doing a broadcast with Dom. If you saw me there, you would know what game it was. Um, and I was like, yep, we can turn this program around. There are tools there that we can do it with. Not going to mention it on the show, but we will run through real quick because I forgot to mention the stats from that Kimberly game. And these were the weird ones. This was Dom, both are head scratching. 5 for 13 for Ellison, who's really consistent, and 51 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Just seemed like a lackluster game. Keegan Plow, 12 carries, 69 yards. Marcus Doucette, 16 carries, 89 yards, and 1 TD. But Kimberly seemed all out of whack. Just didn't seem like the normal formidable Death Star, or whatever I call them, the Death Star of the WIAA that they are. But it certainly was a weird one. Now, I do have one more question here from Max on this Kimberly game. If your team does have seemingly an off game, what's the talk, to get back into your normal routine, to get back into that normal kind of pace that you know you're capable of doing, but you just didn't do it that week?
Sorry, what? It cut out again.
Oh, so when there is a week where maybe you struggled and you were off, what sort of things are you doing to get back on pace and get back ready for that next week?
So yeah, this actually like kind of happened to us. It may not like seem like it, but that West week, our goal was to not let up any touchdowns, and I also threw an interception. And obviously, coach's goal is to for offense is to not like end the possession without a kick or a score, whether it's a field goal, an extra point, or even a punt. Just don't turn the ball over. And we turned the ball over with an interception. And defensively, we let up 2 touchdowns. And kind of what the players were thinking in that situation was Mount Horeb kind of has that similar big QB to wide receiver like passing game, and we just couldn't do that. So that next week, last week, which is why I think we played really really well on Friday. Is everyone really like locked in? I guess took practice really serious. We had a really good physical week of practice. From hitting drills, working on tackling, to the little things. So that's what we did from like a actual experience like that happening.
All right, wonderful. Now we did have Dom drop here. Looks like he's reconnecting. There he is. All right, we are back at it. We'll keep going. I'll just edit that out. But now Kakana takes out Appleton East 35-6. Great game for them. Kakana, again, Dom, they keep on moving. But Bron Schaefer, 12 for 14, 175 yards, 4 TDs. Aiden Reardon, 11 carries, 93 yards, 1 TD. And Parker Shook had 4 catches, 69 yards, and 3 TDs. Is Kakana as good as they're made out to be? I know they played. You guys played them. What were you seeing from the Kakana team that you thought was really good, and what did you think that they maybe lacked in? Like, sort of. We'll just talk about what they did really well in defense.
So obviously right now, since we played Kakana and we're not going to play them anymore, we are like kind of cheering for them. So we do like to see them doing well because it makes us look good. But yeah, their quarterback, especially from the first week, he's gotten considerably better. He's playing really really well. It sounds like we have a lot of respect for that receiver Parker. I remember we were game planning for him, and obviously he's making or having a big year, even in the FEA. And yeah, their defense was obviously really really well or good as well. And yeah, I think they are who we think or who everyone is kind of saying they are. I think they're gonna make a big run here in the playoffs.
And Dom, do you have any follow up questions on like the Kakana game, what he was seeing?
Where have you seen the most improvement in yourself from week 1 until now?
Um, I think just honestly my confidence. Um, like from like not almost not even like ball stuff like the actual part of the game. Like we kind of had a problem for a few weeks, and like me literally just calling the play wrong off of my wristband, like stuff like that, or going too fast with my cadence at the line of scrimmage. But since then, I think I've gotten a lot more confident in that, and also in some throws as well. So I think that's probably thing that I've improved on the most.
And I mean, obviously, progressing through the season is one thing you want to see from all quarterbacks, all probably offensive position, skill position, actually every position, pretty much. But how, if you say as a team, how do you guys think you guys, the Tritons, have grown since the beginning of the season?
I think we've also just developed more confidence in each other. Obviously, there's a lot of our team has guys from all over playing, whether it's sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So really, from the beginning of the season, some of the seniors haven't played with some of the sophomores. Some of the sophomores haven't played with some of the juniors. Whatever that you can say however you want for that, but I think just these last few weeks or this entire season, we've just grown to trust each other more, and yeah, I think that's probably what we've improved on the most.
That's, obviously you want to see that as a coach, as a player, and I would say as a leader of your team, Max, you are the quarterback, and I would consider you probably a leader on that squad if I'm going to be honest, or looked at as a leader. Dom, right? I mean, I feel like you have to be a leader if you're a quarterback. But let's talk about this now. It's two teams that are pretty similar, but Kakana, it looks like they're actually playing Pulaski in this contest. I know you guys didn't see Pulaski this year. I don't believe part of that Northern Conference. But who do we got here? We'll start with Max.
I have Kakana. I Pulaski. Um, I just don't think that they're. I mean, they run the ball like a lot, and that's like coming from our offense where we run a lot. They run even more. And I just don't think that I think Kakana's just too well coached and too disciplined to lose off of something like that. And I think that's what's going to hurt them the most because obviously their offense is clicking. And I just don't think Pulaski's going to be able to hang with them.
Dom?
Agreed. I don't think Pulaski's got enough firepower necessarily to hang with Kakana, especially since Kakana can score in bunches, and their defense has been playing a lot better since the first couple weeks of the year. So I'm taking the Galloping Ghosts over Pulaski in this one. I wouldn't be surprised if Pulaski keeps it close for a half, just because I think they're if they get the ball first, they're going to try to chew that clock.
Yeah, and I'm obviously on the same page there. I'm not going to take any risks this week, Dom. I know you like it when I do because then I can either be proved right and victorious or wrong and shameful.
I say it
But
makes for good content either way. So
it really does. And then you get like good fun out of it, good making fun. Hopefully you're not being made fun of at school for your terrible picks, but that's something I can't control. Now, let's continue to move on here because then we're going to kind of go through the D3 bracket. We'll talk it through with Max here, and we'll talk about who he's got winning, who he's got losing, what he thinks overall of the other pools. But we'll keep moving here. Now, West Superior, they beat Appleton West 35-6. Obviously, that's a really good team, really good squad. We've seen them playing really well all season. Grayson here in this contest, 10 for 11, 154 yards, and 4 TDs. Jeez. I mean, Max Grayson, he's been impressive all season. What are your thoughts on that quarterback?
All right, I don't know why it keeps cutting out.
What are your thoughts on Grayson?
Oh, yeah. So I've actually known Patrick for like since like kindergarten, a long time. I throw with him in the winter. Yeah, I mean, he's been good for a long time. I think he's having a really great season. Obviously. Yeah, but I'm not really super surprised. Because I know how hard he works. And yeah, I think he's doing awesome.
Yeah, Dom and I have talked about him all season long, and we've seen a lot of stats. Dom, um, Gryson continues to play the way he does. What are your thoughts on his last contest here?
Pretty impressive way to finish the season. Only missed one throw. Uh, you saw him in person, Johnny, when they went to Bayport. He's the complete package, and he um apparent. It seems from a distance that his leadership characteristics seem to be off the charts. And not only do you accompany that, they've got a good run game over there with Ethan on, and then Kanan Strong had a good game here, 68 yards. He got some touches. And defensively, they've got some playmakers. They had 8 sacks this week. So West Superior is going to be a tough out. It's kind of surprising that they're only a 3 seed, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and that's another thing that we got to talk about.
And I say it could have probably been a little bit higher, especially with some of the equality of wins that they've had. So the Phantoms are forced to be reckoned with, as we've documented. And uh, you need good quarterback play to win this time of year. Notre Dame certainly got that with our guy.
I was going to say, can't say it's been rough.
And I say it's been pretty good this year. And Patrick Ryson is, like I said, the entire package. So they've got a legit chance because he's been that good for them all year.
Yeah, and without a doubt, this is one of the teams that I would say is one of the stronger teams, especially at that Division II level. Now they do have Oshkosh North, who didn't have a real good showing this past week, and I think they're going to swimmingly go through that game as we look forward. But they do have Ashwaubenon and Sun Prairie East in that follow-up game if they do get through the first round, and whoever wins that one. I mean, Sun Prairie produces a quality team every year, and it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. But it will sure be fun. Now, Max, do you have any last thoughts on the Grayson West Superior Phantoms, how they've been playing this season? Any sort of thoughts on that? Because they've been a really phenomenal team. I know you guys... Oh, no, you guys did not see them. I always get Kakana and West Superior mixed up. Ghosts and Phantoms. But thoughts on that West Superior team and how they're going to do in this playoffs?
Yeah, so obviously I agree with Dom. I don't really know how they're a 3 seed. Patrick actually, like, he kind of spoiled the seedings for me, like, early, because we all were having like a team watch party. Our TV must have been behind by a little bit. He's like, how are you guys a 2 seed? But, like, we got a 3 seed as well. Like, doesn't make any sense. But anyways, I think that, obviously they can close out, games, from just watching that, Bayport game. And I mean, even the Kakana game, they probably should have won that one as well. But I think the receiver, like, fumbled or something like that.
Yep, it was a late fumble that happened there.
Yeah, so I think West Superior is going to be a tough one to beat there in the playoffs, especially if the weather is staying the way it is, and their ability to pass the ball, and they can run too, but just guarding their pass game is so tough, from anybody, in any conference or team in the state. So yeah.
And obviously playing at a really high level, they beat Bayport in a late second field goal. Now I'm going to argue that the guy wasn't down, but that's nothing for me to say.
Get over it, man.
I'm over it. I am over it. Do not tell me to get... No, I'm kidding. But anyways, let's keep talking things through, because then we're going to kind of go through that bracket a little bit. We're going to talk about that D3 bracket and who you expect kind of getting through. But Bayport, they take care of business over Pulaski, winning 37-7. Once again, we did just mention Pulaski taking on Kakana, I believe it was. Now I'm just trying to reverse cycle, and I do get head shakes. And it looks like Matt Stevens, 12 for 16, 155 yards, 2 TDs. Otradovic, 6 carries, 170 yards, 2 TDs. Torp, 6 catches, 99 yards, and 2 TDs. And, I mean, they've looked good all season. They look big. Bayport's obviously been, I would say upper echelon here of the football conference in the FRCC. Now they're in a different section than you are in the north. but they are pretty good. But I did forget to ask one question for you. So I know you said you had a watch party. What's that like, having a watch party and seeing your seedings and maybe being disappointed with that number 2 seed in that in your bracket?
Um, yeah. So we were watching it, and like all everyone was recording. I think
Like on
for
their
some reason,
phones?
like yeah, like our head coach was recording. We were at Ace's house. Everyone was like getting ready, thinking we were gonna be a 1 seed. And we weren't, obviously. So everyone was kind of like, what? And we saw we were playing Pewaukee, and I don't even know if we've ever played Pewaukee, so we really knew nothing about them. I'm pretty sure Coach sent us film that night, and I think every single person definitely clicked on it and watched something, because today at school everyone was saying like, this is gonna be a good game, and we're gonna have to really lock in, but it's gonna be fun. But yeah, the watch party, we were a little surprised, but
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm sure. Going undefeated and getting a 2 seed just seems a little off. Now, I'm not going to question the WIA, but Dom, what are your thoughts on the 2 seed here for Notre Dame? Come
The
on.
the the committee every year
Here
in
we go.
any sport has a tough job. Um, so two seed is just from watching it, uh, I personally think a little low. Now I can also somewhat understand probably what the formatting was, because they're probably looking at some of these other teams and saying, when it comes to strength of schedule, how do you factor that in? Um, so it was an interesting reveal when that came out to see him as a 2 seed, but I was looking at some of the other ones, and I think on that 2 seed line, they're one of the best out there. So the other 2 seeds are Martin Luther in D3, and um, Onalaska, and well, the other one was Mount Horeb. So good 2 seed line, um, from really all 4 quadrants. Could have maybe been a 1 seed, but it doesn't really matter. I think Max said this earlier. It doesn't really matter where you rank them. You put them up. We've seen in March Madness 16 seeds beat ones, so it doesn't matter. You still got to play the games. And when we get to Friday, the numbers don't mean anything.
Yeah, and I was just going to mention that because nobody gets a bye. Everybody's got to play every
Yeah.
week. So that's one big thing. Like, there's no real advantage to being a 1, just besides having that 1 next to your name. That's really the only thing I kind of see from it. I don't know. Is there anything like Max? Do you think it's a? Do you see anything else besides it just being a number in front of your team name? I mean, I don't really think there's anything else to it. It's because you don't get a buy or anything, even if you are the 1. But do you think it really impacts the team that way?
I mean, not really. I mean, because we know that we did everything we could the whole season. We won every game. We beat every team. And we beat good teams too. In Kakana and De Pere and Menasha and a few other teams. But yeah, I think it is just a number, because at the end of the day, no one's, like I said earlier, no one's trying to, you know, get out in the third round. Like, you have to play everybody anyway. So I don't think it really matters too much.
No, and I'm certainly on board with that, and I hope you guys take that same mentality as a team. But now let's have some fun here. Let's run through the D3 bracket. We're just going to do one round to get us to the round of 16. And we're going to take picks here on who we got winning. So first, let me just grab my pen and paper here. All right. So Dom, I'm going to keep this accountable for us every week. We're going to look at this and we're going to be like, yep, or were we right or were we wrong in this picking here? So now I got the D3 one out. And let's take it here. We got Medford, Lakeland. Take a guess here. We'll start with Max. Who are you taking?
Medford's the other one, right?
They are. So
They're
you're
one of
going
them.
on
Yeah,
numbers
I don't
now.
know too much about anybody on the north side of the bracket. So I guess Medford.
Dom?
Yeah, I agree. Medford has had a really good season. Haven't watched too much of Lakeland this year, so I'm gonna take the home team.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go Medford as well, just because I'm gonna play the numbers game, and I'm gonna hope that based like March Madness with some of those teams, you just take a wild guess and hope that you're right. But this is what makes it fun, and then you see an upset, and then we get to talk about it that following week. But next up, we got in that northern bracket here, and we'll start once again with Mr. Max. We got Fox Valley Lutheran and Wausau East, which should be a good game, I think. Oh, Max, we lost your volume.
Oh,
Oh, there. Now I got you a little bit. There we go.
got it. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna take Fox Valley Lutheran. I don't really know too much about the other team, but I know a few guys on that Fox Valley Lutheran team are hungry to win, um, and I think they're gonna win that game. Are they home too?
Actually, it's going to be in Wausau East.
Okay. All right. I still think Fox Valley is gonna win that one though.
All right. Now, Dom, who you got?
I'm agreeing with Max. I'm gonna go Fox Valley. I saw them last year. I don't remember how many seniors they had, but they were a solid squad a season ago. They're well coached. Uh, I think it's gonna be close, but I'm gonna pick a little upset here. I'm gonna go with the Foxes.
See, I was going to go with Wausau East just based on numbers again, just because I haven't seen either of these teams play this season. But at 2 out of 3, I got to go Fox Valley Lutheran now. And we got QB1 here telling us that it's going to be FVL, so we'll take FVL for the win there. And now moving into that lower section, we have La Crosse Logan versus Wapaka. Who gets the win there? Max? Take a guess here. So we got a 3 seed in La Crosse and a 6 seed in Wapaka.
Give me Wapaka.
Upset.
I don't know
Ooh,
I don't know
nice.
anything
I like that.
about either of these teams. I'm not gonna lie, but I'll take the upset.
It's all for fun. Dom, who do you got?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take the home team. I'm kind of in agreement with Max here. I haven't seen either of these two teams this year. I know a little bit
Well,
about
if you're taking the
Wapaka.
home, you'd be disagreeing with them.
Well, I'm saying I agree with them for the same what I haven't seen these
Oh.
two teams. I'm gonna go with La Crosse Logan. They're the home team, and it's kind of this one's kind of a toss up for me because I have seen a little bit of Wapaka, but not too much.
So I'm going to go on the side of you have to travel from Wapaka to La Crosse. It's a pretty long car ride. Got a little attrition setting in, and maybe not the most fun ride because when you get to that other side of the state, it gets really boring until you get to like closer to the border. So I'm going to actually go with La Crosse Logan. I'm going to go with Dom here on this one, and I'll take the home team. So let's mark that one down as La Crosse Logan. La Crosse LCL. And then we got here Merrill versus Onalaska. Now, I know you guys haven't probably seen either of these teams, but we're going to take a guess here, have some fun with it. And it's Onalaska holds that number 2 seed. Let's start with Max.
I did not Alaska make a little run last year.
I thought so.
I
Believe so.
think Alaska is gonna win. For that sake, just from experience wise, I think that's pretty important. So I think Alaska is gonna win, especially if they're a fellow 2 seed. So I got them.
Dom?
I'm gonna go with Onalaska too. I would not be surprised to see them in the state qualifier. Spoilers.
God, I love the take. Good one, Dom. Yeah, I'm going to go Onalaska too. We're going to put them down on the old high school crunch time sheet. And then now moving down into your bracket here, Max. So now it's where it gets to the home hitting. We have Grafton and Milwaukee North. Who wins in that one?
Grafton. Grafton, I know they made a big run last year. I know they have a good quarterback. I think they have a good running back too. I think they're going to be a good team in this playoffs. So I'm going to take Grafton.
Dom?
I'm gonna go with Grafton too. They've been really, really solid this year. To Max's point, good backfield combo of quarterback and running back. So Grafton will take the victory here.
Now we got a fun one here. Luxembourg, Casco, or Plymouth. Both kind of similar team or close teams. Who we got? Remember, Plymouth did upset, I think, Nina early in the season.
Yeah, I think Plymouth beat Menasha too, if I'm not wrong. So I think Plymouth's gonna win if they're beating all these
Yeah,
teams.
they're a solid roster.
Yeah.
They're a solid team.
Yeah, yeah, I'll take Plymouth.
All right, Dom.
Yeah, I was trying to talk myself into Luxembourg Casco here because I know some of the kids over there from different things. But yeah, Plymouth has had some really good quality wins this year, so I'm gonna go with them.
All right, let me just write that down here. Got to spell Plymouth correctly. Make it look professional. Port Washington, Whitefish Bay. Who we got? Let's start with Max.
I think Port Washington's gonna win. I just don't know a lot about Whitefish Bay. And I think, again to the experience thing, I'm pretty sure Port Washington won a few games last year as well. If I'm not wrong, I think they did. Or at least they were.
Believe so.
Okay, yeah. So I think Port Washington will win that game.
Perfect. Now, Dom.
This is gonna be an interesting spot here for Port Washington. They just got shut out by Beaver Dam, and that was for the conference championship. So,
You seen an upset here?
I think I'm gonna pick an upset here. I'm gonna go Whitefish Bay.
You know, I like which way you're swinging. We need a couple upsets on this one. I'm going to go Whitefish Bay too. Sorry, Max. I don't want to disagree with you. Or, I mean, I don't care to disagree with you, but I don't want to, dismiss what
clear.
Yeah. Whitefish Bay we'll go with. It keeps it fun, though. And now we got a big one here. If either of you guys say the other team, this would be really bad. But Notre Dame and Pewaukee. We'll start with...
Well, is Max allowed to say his answer? Yeah. I'm picking Notre Dame in this one. They've been dominant all season, especially with some of those skill position players that Max gets to play with. So as long as Max and Christian and Jack, fans of the show up next week or on
fans
Friday,
of the show. That's what we like to hear.
As long as they get out of the locker room dressed, ready to go, I'm taking the Tritons.
No bad chicken tenders that week?
No. Well, we actually don't have classes on Friday, so we get a nice day to sleep in and make sure that people are ready to go.
That's elite. Is that
elite.
Matt making that move?
He may have.
I was gonna say he might have
last week too.
Little back pocket favor, like, hey guys, like we just need these couple days off here. So.
All right, now we got to go to Max. Max, what team you picking?
Notre Dame, come on now.
NDA. He's going with the home team. Freezing up a little bit, but not too bad. Just do that there. Okay, so Notre Dame. We got. All right, and then we'll just run through the other side real quick. Just give me off the top of your head. Doesn't need to be any real specific. I'm just going to ask you real quick. Just speed things up a little bit. Catholic Memorial or New Berlin Eisenhower?
Catholic Memorial. I don't know if their quarterback's back or not, but I don't think that's going to matter for this round at least. I think Catholic Memorial's going to win. They got a good team over there.
Dom, same way?
Yeah, agreed. That's been the team that any football player that I talk to around class these days, that's the team that they say that's going to be, should they get there, the team's going to get in the most trouble. So give me Catholic Memorial.
All right, now Whitnall and Reedsburg. Let's start with Max.
I don't really know too much stuff about these teams, except I think we might have played Reedsburg my freshman year, in the playoffs or something.
They're
like
the
that.
4 seed. They're the higher seed.
I wasn't on the team yet, so I wasn't too sure. But I think Whitnall's gonna win because we beat Reedsburg, so I think they have bad playoff luck.
Dom?
Tricky one here. One team's 5-4. One team's 4-5.
Yeah, it's a horse piece.
I'm gonna say horse apiece. So I'm gonna go. I'll go with Max. I'll take Whitnall.
Whitnall? All right.
Yep.
So we got 2 Whitnalls. I was gonna vote for Reedsburg because I have a friend who has a goat farm in Reedsburg. Nothing more than that. They have a bunch of goats, but I will write down Whitnall for us on this pick here on this Friday. All right, Whitnall. Then we got Stoughton in Waterford. Who do we got, Max? Stoughton or Waterford?
I don't even know why, but Stoughton.
Like the name? It's a good name.
It is a good name.
It's a tough name. Stoughton. or Waterford,
Yeah,
Max?
yeah. Stoughton. Stoughton's gonna win.
All right, now Dom,
Yeah, I'm gonna go Stoughton 2, 7-2 on the year.
let's go with it.
Well coached. They're coming off of a pretty dominant win, 34-12 over Lakeside Lutheran.
Now let's keep moving. Sauk Prairie or Mount Horeb Barneveld? Max, you did talk about Mount Horeb before. Who you got?
Yeah, I got Mount Horeb. Mount Horeb's gonna win.
Dami?
Yeah, agreed. Mount Horeb had a tremendous season last year. They don't have Notre Dame on their side of the bracket, so that's going to help them. They're super solid program over there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go with Mount Horeb as well. Have a little experience there. When I was working for Radio Plus, we had our driver, so the guy that worked like the camera, he got pulled over in Mount Horeb, and we got a warning. It was very fun. Made for an interesting evening. We were filling up with gas. We sped out of there a little quick, and we got pulled over. So now let's keep moving on here, just to finish things up, and then we'll ask some fun questions for Max. Kind of get like we did last week with Christian and Jack, to help fans get to know the player a little bit inside the locker room and elsewhere. But let's start with New Berlin West, or excuse me, now I'm gonna miss plus XI Catholic.
I think it's just Pious Catholic, I believe.
Oh, is
right?
that an I? Looks like plus on there, but whatever. We'll go Pious Catholic. And who do we got?
I've never heard of Pious Catholic. I'm not gonna lie.
I haven't either. So
I'm
New
gonna
Berlin
take
West,
New
we all
Berlin
agree?
West.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, let's go with that one. We do apologize to the fans of Pious Catholic. If you are watching, we're not very worldly people. We're not even well versed in our own state. Now, keep moving down here. Greendale or Omaha SCTE?
What was it? Omaha. I got Omaha.
Kind of like the Peyton Manning Audible.
Yeah, Omaha.
My man.
Yeah, that's why.
Dom?
I'm gonna go Greendale. Little 5-4 upset, I think. They're gonna be able
I'm
to
glad you're
control-
actually looking
control
at the
clock here.
bracket as I go, so you know that I'm not making these names up. I'm like, Omaha. I've never heard of an Omaha, Wisconsin. But let's go Omaha. Let's go Omaha. I like it. Like it.
There you go.
Oops. Let's do that here. All right. So we'll do Omaha. And then finally, we have Wisconsin Luther and Cudahy. Who do we got there? Dom?
I'm gonna go Wisconsin Lutheran. I see they've got some real good athletes over there.
And now Mr. Man himself, Max Pierce.
Yeah, I agree. I think Wisconsin Lutheran's gonna win. I know them more for basketball. I know they have a lot of good athletes on the basketball team, so I'm guessing that translates over to football. So I bet that Wisconsin Lutheran's gonna win.
There's gotta be some in the water, probably. They're just all athletes over there.
Hey, I mentioned that before. You're taking that from me and Kimberly. That's all right. We
Well,
read big books.
That's the best form of flattery right there, right?
Yep. And then finally, Milwaukee, Washington Fuller Academy, or Martin Luther. What do we got? Let's start with Max. Let him take that final pick.
Is Martin Luther the other two?
Yep, there are
Yep.
two.
Yeah, then I'll take them as the fellow 2 seed.
The fellow 2 seed, now down.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Martin Luther too. They've had a really, really good regular season.
All right, perfect, gentlemen. We have the first round of the bracket filled out. Now we will be keeping up to date on this, Dom and I. If we want to keep going with this, we'll probably be all wrong besides Notre Dame, and then we'll look like real fools, especially if we act like we're a professional show. But let's have some fun and ask Max some questions that we've always wanted to know going on. So we did this last week, just talked about it, and we learned about the Chick-fil-A boys. Now I have a question for you. Are you in that group? Is that an exclusive group, or is just something you don't care to join?
So last year, I was. Charlie was he was kind of like my ride before games. But this year I'm not in the group. I guess pregame I kind of like a lame pregame tradition. I just like I go home and I like say hi or I say bye to like my family and then I come back to school. That's all I do for pregame. But I was last year, but I'm not anymore this year.
Not part of the Chick-fil-A fellas?
No.
I was going to get them shirts. And I'm still debating on it because I think it would make a really cool shirt
Yeah.
with like the Chick-fil-A logo on it. And or like something similar and just call it the Chick-fil-A fellas. Because I think that would be a great group name, especially like a band name. I mean,
Yeah, right.
Right, Dom? That'd be a good band name.
Here
But
we go.
Dom, do you have any questions for Mr. Max here?
So, what is your pregame meal then, or do you just go into the game like you don't eat anything, you just want to remain focused?
I try to eat something, but typically I don't really eat anything. Unless it's like an away game. For away games, we get like subs, I guess. So I'll eat like I eat one like they cut the sub in half, so I'll eat like half the sub, and then I'll eat the other half, or like when the game's over. And then we also get like post game meals, but whatever. But I have more food for when the game's done. But for home, I don't. I normally like drink a lot of like water, I guess, and Gatorade, but I don't really eat too much. I try to have like a decent lunch though. I guess I eat a lot of, or I eat like two peanut butter and jellies. From our con up. I don't even know how to describe it.
Are those
our like, school.
the
Like cafeteria?
Yeah, like
snackables or whatever they're called?
Uncrustables, like two
Uncrustables, yeah.
uncrustables. Yeah, so I eat two of those. And that typically gets me through until the game's over, and then I eat a lot over at our post game meals and stuff.
Now, just because out of curiosity here, Max, what is that post game meal look like? Do you guys go to a restaurant or do you guys just order something out like as a team? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we all go to the distillery after the games.
Oh, the cheese curd burgers.
Yeah, I don't get that. I might have to try that though.
Oh my.
Um, I haven't heard. Everyone just gets like pizza and like wings. So I guess now I'll have to order a cheese curd burger.
Dude, they
But yeah,
sold them
that's
at one of
normally
your
what I eat.
games.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got one and I came up to Dom and I'm like, yeah, I got the cheese curd burger because the distillery crashed the concession stands. Their cheese curd burgers are to die for. Now it's gonna make you feel like you weigh 1,000 pounds afterwards, but you're gonna be sitting fat and happy the rest of the night, and it's a delicious burger, delicious little treat that they serve there over at the distillery in Green Bay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't been there, I highly recommend going there. And if the distillery wants to host us as a venue, that would be a great place to have a show, right, Dom?
Gonna say not sponsored, but we could be.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I can always throw out the free sponsors. Eventually, somebody picks it up and makes a little fun
We'll do
out of it. Right. Now, tell me here, Max, because obviously you are a student. What is your favorite subject in school? He's gonna say none.
gonna say like
I'll
gym
keep
class.
it interesting. I right now I take like I take like your generic like math and science and stuff. But I take like a lot of weird classes too. And one of them is called PPS. It's kind of like a career exploration type thing. Where we like last week you go on like a lot of field trips. You get to like it's like everyone yeah that, but also everyone kind of like in like say like in school like they don't teach you how to do like real world stuff. This class like kind of does, I guess, and it kind of like opens your mind for life past high school. I'd probably have to say that my PPS class is probably my favorite class. I also like the teacher in there is cool.
That's sweet. Now, Dom, do you have a favorite class? I never asked you that. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be like some media class or something, but do you have a favorite class that you look forward to during the day?
I've always liked writing, so I'm in a journalism course right now. So I love writing about whatever's going on, different news stories, different articles, getting it published in the student newsletter. So I enjoy doing that stuff.
Yeah, mine was always the language arts. I like that. Or else we had a DECA class where we did like business projects. That was a lot of fun. Just learning how to do that sort of stuff. Now, Dom, do you have any other questions for Mr. Max Pierce here as we kind of wrap things up and slow things down a little bit?
What's on your pregame playlist to get you hyped up before a game? What are you listening to?
So James kind of like takes control of the aux like when I get into the locker room. But before that, like in my car, I know this is gonna sound really weird, but I listen to like like the NFL like Thursday night football
Sure.
like theme. I listen to that, and I also listen to the like Monday and Sunday night theme. It makes me like get ready, makes me excited. That's what I listen to.
That's interesting. I mean, I can't play that because of copyright and that sort of thing, so I won't be able to play that in the background, but it would make a fun playback. I was a big fan of like the Beyonce, like Single Ladies, get dancing a little bit, get vibing, get moving at least a little bit. And those were my things. Now, to wrap things up here, because we are a little bit over an hour on the show here, so we do thank you again, Max, for all your time here today. And I hope you had lots of fun, just like Christian and Jack did. I'm sure you saw what we did last week. It was a lot of fun, and I think this episode's just going to be fantastic as well. But my final question is, because we are heading into playoffs and everything else, and season's potentially wrapping up a little bit, what do you want to say to Notre Dame Triton fans for these final weeks in the playoffs?
I just want to say, to be ready for a big show, and football for Notre Dame is not going to be done anytime soon. For
I like that.
These next few weeks.
I like that a lot. Dom, you like that too?
I would I got a couple more games in me to call, so however far you guys want to go, if it's all the way down to Madison, that's okay with me.
Yeah, and it definitely makes the season more fun. I think you guys are a really good team in that D3. I'm gonna make a serious run at that title, and I really hope you guys do. Just because I love to see the guys that come on the show do really well and have a great football playing time and just really have a lot of fun. But with that, I think, Dom, we're going to wrap things up here for High School Crunch Time. Once again, I want to thank Max Pierce, our special guest of the week. He was a fantastic, kind of a late guest, because I did follow you on Twitter. I followed you back, and then I'm like, hey, do you want to come on the show? And you're like, sure, I don't even know you, but that's all right. And we have met now, and we've had lots of fun here today, Dom. Another fun time here on High School Crunch Time. But signing off for Dom D'Angelo, Max Pierce, I'm Johnny Sant. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great night, and best of luck to all teams in the playoffs.